today's video I played Minecraft Java Edition on hardcore mode while in virtual reality with the help of the Vivecraft mod and my Oculus Quest 2. And here's what I've accomplished. I started off by booting the game and naming my new world. Playing in VR is a whole different experience as compared to just plain old Minecraft because there are a ton of little features that are unique only to the VR version of the game. For example, a keyboard pops out in front of you so you can type, and you also have to hold the food you want to eat over your mouth. There are plenty of other features you'll notice throughout this video, so feel free to point them out in the comment section below for the people that couldn't catch them. Feeling special, I also decided to spice things up a bit and decided to enter my own custom seed. I pressed generate world and waited for the world to finish loading. The area that I spawned in was not the ideal place to settle down and build my base, for it just so happened that I spawned right in between a desert biome and a birch forest. However, luckily for me, I came into the game with a plan. A plan that I had conspired prior for a pretty cool sandcastle build I wanted to attempt, and I could make use of this desert and the abundance of sand. And don't forget the birch wood, cause you know, wood is also pretty useful too. Speaking of birch, I gathered some wood to construct my first table of crafting to forge myself a wooden sword that I shall use to slay my first meal. This conveniently placed chicken that just so happened to spawn as soon as I forged my new weapon of death. Wandering about, I stumbled into a batch. I believe they're called batches. Anyhow, I took the sugarcane that I found so I can start early prepping for when I get started on my paper farm and other material necessities for enchanting. Eventually, I found myself a nice little coal vein in a hillside that just so happened to be next to a coral reef, which itself was next to a desert temple with a little lone island in the middle, which immediately gave me the feeling of wanting to build my base there. Oh yeah, I also have stone tools now, cause you know, adventure. Anyway, I started making haste towards the desert biome to start my first VR Tomb Raider experience. But of all times, I picked the time just as it was transitioning from day to night. And with me heading off into a desert, for anyone that's played Minecraft long enough, you already know that means serious trouble. Unless you're a seasoned veteran like me, then you'll have no fear of the creatures that lurk in the darkness. I climbed to one of the temple's towers and broke my way inside, all sneakily of course, and didn't want to alert any of the skeletal guards lurking in the room below. I blocked myself off in this room and placed down a crafting table and furnace to cook some food and provide some temporary light as I came up with a raid plan. Now it may sound simple, for it is yet still highly effective. I was just going to run out there, slay out the skeletons one by one until the room was clear, and then I can make my way to the treasure under the false floor below. All while avoiding detonating the TNT trap waiting alongside the loot as well. I broke the block separating me from my enemies and sneakily made my way forward, when one of the guards had been alerted to my presence and ambushed me from the doorway. I managed to take care of him no problem until his backup came and left me with one heart, nearly killing me and ending my session only 30 minutes in. I blocked myself off in the room, chowed on some steak, and began to re-strategize like a good leader would do. I decided that I was going to need something with a little more damage output as compared to the wooden sword I was currently using, and decided to craft myself a stone sword to chop down my enemies faster. Since I didn't want another incident like the scenario I just had moments ago. I alerted the next archers to my position and proceeded to defeat them, meaning the room was now clear of enemies, or so I thought, as two more skeletal archers bum rushed me as a last-ditch effort to defend their ancient treasure. However, their efforts were in vain as I made easy work with them and mined my way down to obtain my well-deserved spoils. I destroyed the pressure plate that would set off the TNT that would kill any fool who dare activate the trap. The loot was okay, but it wasn't anything that could help my progression moving forward from here, at least for now. The most notable items acquired would be the diamond horse armor, a golden apple, and the single diamond. I also made sure to gather the TNT under the floor, then I made my way back to the main level of the temple and back into the room I had used in my temporary base of operations to go out the same way that I had came in. That's when I had seen that my entrance had been guarded by a creeper nearby, so I took out my bow and decided to use him for a bit of target practice. I made my way out of the temple, and to my surprise, I had laid my eyes on something I had never seen in my 10 plus years of playing Minecraft. Awaiting me near the ocean shore was a skeleton equipped with a full set of diamond drip, ready to slay me in return for the restless souls that were once his comrades. And according to the Minecraft wiki, these boys only have a 0.04% chance of spawning in the overworld. And with chances like these, it made me feel like a lucky duck. The luckiest duck in fact. I also was aware that if I really was lucky, I can defeat this skeleton and get a piece of diamond drip for myself. However, little did I know luck was the very force going against me. With the fighting spirit of a Nord, I dashed towards the skeleton chief and slayed his arachnid companion. The death of another ally caused the skeleton to grow angrier and he began to fire arrows at me, which I had to use my shield to block the flurry of arrows and close the distance and create a moment to attack. The battle was tough, however it was short-lived. I was able to make easy work of the skeleton due to the shield being one of the most overpowered items in Minecraft. Unfortunately, I wasn't lucky enough for the piece of diamond armor to drop, but nevertheless it was a battle worth fighting. I jumped in the water and swam over to the small island that I would claim for my base. I planted my sugarcane to outline the start of my farm and started laying down the foundation of what would be my house. I chopped down some trees because I ran out of wood. By the time I had finished the outside of my house, it was already nightfall and mobs spawned all around me. I don't know if it was because I was playing on hardcore mode or if it was because the surrounding areas were not lit up at all, because there were more than your average amount of mobs spawned around me. I was literally surrounded, with my only safe area being this box on this little island in the middle of the action. Although I was horribly outnumbered because I didn't have a bed, I decided that the best thing to do at the moment was just to fish until daybreak, so I did just that. I didn't catch anything noteworthy though, not even loads of fish, but we all know the one thing Bedrock has over Java is that the fishing on the Bedrock version is way better than over here on the Java edition. On daybreak, I used my time of safety by the sunlight wisely to finish up the inside of my home and to make it a bit more lively. I added some windows so I can see the deathly creatures of the night lurking in the shadows. I added a painting above the window so I can remember the feeling of peace that I felt when looking at said painting. And floors so I won't worry about tracking sand in my house anymore. And lastly, a door, a crafting table, and 2 chests to store more items. I also added the sandstone slabs on my roof to make it look a bit more luxurious. When the moon started to rise in the sky, I figured since I had finished building my house, maybe I can go out there and start getting my stats up. So I swam over to the nearby shore that has the conveniently placed lava pool that'll come in handy in a few moments, and came up with a foolproof attack plan. I was going to use a skeleton to kill the creepers so I can get a music disc. I jumped up onto the sand and began to engage the skeleton. Everything was going just as I had planned it, until another skeleton jumped out from the trench they had dug moments ago and started blasting me with arrows. I was in a pickle. I got 2 skeletons on my flanks and I can only aim this shield and block the arrows in one direction. Now you might be asking, well, what did you do? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I immediately came up with a well-improvised version of my original plan. You see, if I can get both of these skeletons to hit each other, then I can take out the victor and slay the rest of these mobs like hot knife through butter. But that plan soon failed when a zombie and a creeper find out what's going on and start making their way towards me. But what I did was use the creeper to kill whatever mobs that were too close and take out whoever was left. I took care of the spider that joined in halfway through the fight, and when I thought it was no longer probable, the 2 skeletons ended up fighting each other and allowed me to handle the remaining threat and take a breather from narrowly avoiding death. However, that rest was short-lived because the creeper flanked me from my rear and nearly ended my playthrough once and for all. By the time I had noticed those subtitles, I was already thinking how I just wasted all my time halfway through my goal. That was until I was bestowed another chance at life and was able to live yet another day. I eventually got home, placed my war spoils in a chest, and set out on a journey to collect some more resources. During my perilous journey through the desert biome, I stumbled into this small little ravine that supplied me with some coal to heat my home, but yet this was not enough to satiate my hunger for loot. So I nerd pulled out and continued further in my journey through the desert. I eventually came across a dark forest biome. This forest also just so happened to be a home for a small group of cows, so I did what every Minecrafter does best and walked away as if it never even existed in the first place. I explored the dark forest for a little while longer to see if it'll transport me to another fantasy land that I've read in previous archaeological books, about a land where the horses graze on and the bees buzz around beautiful valleys filled with colorful flowers. Well, that ain't happened, but I did find a straggler from the family of cows that I killed, and I know how painful and lonely it is to be the last survivor of your clan, so I did him a favor and sent them on an express trip straight to them. Eventually I got back home and went fishing for a bit to release some of that tension I built up prior, until I remembered that I was the equivalent of Minecraft poor, and I needed some ores to progress me further into the game. So I broke the rule that every Minecrafter learns straight out of preschool. I mined a whole straight line down in the middle of my home. Surely this won't come back and bite me in the behind. You know, I didn't even consider how bad of an idea this was. I haven't played Minecraft since the Nether update, so I completely forgot that the world size for the Y level was drastically increased and decreased. So at literally any moment, I could find myself falling down a literal abyss, with the probability of surviving at less than 1%, especially since I was doing this without a water bucket. But never fear, my wits was here to save the day. I came up with the bright idea of using a boat to assist me while mining because I watched in a video before how you won't take any fall damage while riding a boat, and how this was a strategy a lot of players used, especially now with the changes that were made to how Minecraft's caves generate. However, the boat would serve me no purpose here because I was mining in a 1x1 hole, and a boat needs to be placed in a 2x2 area, so unless I wanted to mine straight down a wider area, I ditched the idea of using a boat and made a prayer to Notch to offer me protection while I break the #1 rule of Minecraft. Eventually I noticed the subtitles on my left hand mentioning zombie groaning noises nearby, to which I started to hear them myself. This meant one of two things: either there was a decent sized cave nearby, or I was about to mine to my death. Fortunately for me, it wasn't the latter, and I found myself overlooking a cave with a crap ton of mobs dwelling within it. I opened the hole a little wider and placed some torches so that I could see better, and I noticed the sound of creepers, zombies, and skeletons, and a single bat. Once I got an idea of the enemies below, I mined a little staircase to allow me easy access up and down the cave. The first enemy to step up to the challenge was none other than the skeleton, of course. He must have caught wind of the embarrassing defeat of his allies back at the desert temple and decided to see for himself if the rumors were true. While I was busy taking care of the skeleton, 2 zombies ambushed me and tried to make their way up the makeshift steps I had mined. And in a last-ditch effort to protect myself from death, I blocked off the steps so that they could only come up so high. While this solution may have protected me from the zombies, the skeleton, on the other hand, still posed a deadly threat. I retreated further back up the steps when 2 more zombies joined in on the fun. And for the first time during this playthrough, I genuinely thought it was all gonna end here. That wasn't until a creeper came up the steps and blew himself up, taking out all the mobs on the steps with him, helping me out of the bind I had currently found myself in. But even though most of the mobs were deceased, I found myself yet in another dilemma. I was now stuck in this deadly cave with no immediate escape just in case something like that were to happen again. That was my thought process until another creeper showed up and pushed me into a corner where I found my greatest find yet on this Minecraft world: diamonds. But before I can mine the diamonds, I would have to make sure the diamond doesn't mine when I mine it. Me and my boy Dylan took some time to craft some necessities and checked out around the cave to make sure it was actually safe to let my guard down. A good thing we did that because there was another creeper lurking deeper in the depths of the cave. I made quick business with him and uncovered the treasure he was hiding: iron ore. It was only 2 measly pieces of iron though, so it wasn't enough to harvest the diamonds I had found, but hey, at least I was able to make a stronger sword now. That was until I started to head back in the direction I came when I noticed an iron vein in the corner of the wall I had no view of before when I was in combat with the creeper. Mining it, now I had 7 pieces of iron, which was more than enough for me to craft both a sword and a pickaxe to mine my diamonds. I mined some coal and then headed back to my crafting table and put together a furnace so I could smelt the iron I had found moments ago and get started mining on my well-deserved diamonds. First I did a quick prayer hoping for a great vein of diamonds ready to be disturbed by my pickaxe, and then I got mining. When I broke the first diamond and didn't see another one waiting behind it, I thought, well, maybe they spawned closer to the other one. But when I broke that second diamond, it felt as if my prayers had fallen upon deaf ears because I was only gifted 2 diamonds from this wall. Not even enough to craft an enchantment table. I mined around the areas of the diamond, hoping to uncover more hidden behind the layers of cobblestone, but to my dismay, there were none. I did find some redstone and gold though, but when I ran into that gold, something in my head clicked. I had that 1 diamond in my chest I had found in that desert temple, and with the 2 diamonds I have now, although it may not be enough for an enchantment table, it was enough to craft myself a diamond pickaxe and contain some obsidian so I can build a portal to the Nether and trade this gold with the hoglins and get rich quick. My heart swelled up faster than the Grinch on Christmas Day, and I nerd pulled back up the mine with glee, as I knew riches were to be made by me. You see, I knew just a conveniently placed lava pool to go to and get some quick obsidian without a headache. And it just so happened to be that that very place was right next to my house. When I arose, it was nighttime, so that means any ideas I had about going over and swimming to that lava pool had to be postponed because that area would be heavily guarded by mobs, and I don't want another creeper incident to happen over there like the night before. So with that, I headed back to my home so I could place my new items in a chest, craft my diamond pickaxe, and then just fish until daytime to collect my thoughts. That was until I found myself killing the creatures of the night and slaying the winged beasts swooping in at me from above. Creatures that bested me in battle and led to me making a strategic retreat back to my house, when one of the beasts got trapped in a boat I had put down. I may have done what no man has done before: trap a phantom in a boat. I slapped this drowned back in the water and filled up my bucket and made my way towards the lava pit, because today would be the day I construct my nether portal and make myself rich. I killed the zombie clad in gold armor and allowed his arachnid ally to survive because we made a deal for him to not bother me during the daytime. Poured my water next to the lava, broke one block of obsidian and replaced it with water to mine the rest of the obsidian needed for my portal. Once I had 12, I jolted back to my base and hopped in a boat to take a little trip with my phantom friend and got to work on constructing my portal. All was going well until I remembered one crucial detail. You can't go through the portal without lighting it first, and you can't light the portal without a flint and steel, which was made using 2 resources I currently didn't have. So I had to put this on the back burner and found myself yet again venturing out deep into the world to find myself more resources. It didn't take long until I found a cave nearby that contained half of the resources I needed to finish my portal plan. I emerged from the cave when I noticed some land in the distance that caught my eye. What is this new land to be explored and conquered? I questioned myself as I made my way over to the area. I came across a hilltop that had a slight overlook on the lands beyond. When I was about to go and venture further, I noticed the beautiful colors of the sunset in the sky, which was the Earth's way of letting me know that I'd better get my ass home soon. So I ran off back in the direction I came to make my way home and light my nether portal. I put some iron to smelt, reorganized my chest, and crafted a flint and steel so I could ignite the portal and claim my riches. Once the portal was lit, I jumped through to take a peek at my spawn area, and to my excitement, there was a family of hoglins right where my portal had spawned. I jumped back through and grabbed all the gold I had available, ready to trade it all like chips at a casino. I got garbage. I didn't get anything I wanted. Not a single eye of ender, or even a fucking potion. I just got blackstone and more obsidian. I took my losses and decided to be best to explore a bit of the nether and feel the place out a little bit more. I mined some gold nuggets so I can stack up on them and trade them back to the hoglins on my way out, until I found my very first hoglin base in the nether. I was dumbfounded. In previous worlds, I've searched the nether low and high for these things to only find one just now right around the corner from my portal. I made my way back to the fortress and created a makeshift staircase so I can make my way inside. And at the top I had seen a group of mobs my eyes have never seen before. And between them, a treasure chest filled with loot I could only imagine. My heart started pounding, for I knew this was the moment my dreams would come true and I would finally achieve the riches beyond my wildest dreams. I took another step closer, but that was where I had made my fatal mistake. The hog guards took notice of my presence and they were not too happy about a trespasser in their fortress. They ran after me and I tried to run, but my flee was futile. I was killed in 2 hits and that was all over. Everything I had knew and built was lost, all just a mere memory to recall upon in the future. I was devastated. I wasted 24 hours of my life to only get 3 diamonds and die in the nether? Well, it's just like they say, not all that glitters is gold. How's it going, everyone? It's your man, Lost Disciple, the voice box of the underground of YouTube.
What the
and I
fuck
hope you
you
enjoyed
doing,
the
nigga?
video. Don't forget to show your love and support by clicking that like button and leaving a comment down below. As always, I hope you
Crazy.
enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.